For the whole of last year, I've been part of a startup called Gapp. But for the past 1 year, we have been hidden. Safe to say we have not done any posts, we've not done advertisement, we've not done marketing. And even when we went to Jitex, we didn't post a lot of videos there. So for this year, as a product growth and monetization manager, I decided, okay, it's time for us to be in our shell. We need to be out there, we need to be in public, and we need to just be the thing, right? So I started making videos about my experiences. I started shooting videos like this one and talk about our product and all of that. And then on one post that I made, it came to my mind, what if my competitors see this? So what if a bigger company actually does see these videos and then copies what we are building and implements it faster than we can, because they probably would have more resources than we. How will we survive? Context, this actually has happened to us before, where we spent a year building a product and then it was stolen. A bigger company, which I'm not going to mention, took the idea from us, implemented it faster, and then we were left with a product we built and we could not even sell it to anybody. It took me a lot of time, but then I brought down to three significant truths. Ideas are worthless. Execution is what matters. He said, regardless of what idea we have, the ideas meant shit. What matters was execution. And number two is that even if my competitors came and they took the idea from us, they do not have the vision to drive it, because execution matters and the way the implementation is done also matters. Startups die from obscurity and not competition. And I think at this point I just have to give you guys a chance so you guys can understand this. I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying, and if you're understanding it, I know you're not talking to me directly, but I want you to implement in the comment section, I am understanding it, so I can see it and like your comment. And like I said, kindly consider liking and subscribing to this video now, and also dropping your questions down so I can answer it at will. Then the last thing is that attention is what matters. Being in public is what matters. Because if we do not have the product, if we do not have the people to build the product with, then your startup does not even make sense. Even if you spend 7 years building a product, when you bring it to the market, it's also going to suck, and you're also going to have a lot of things to do to improve that thing, right? So the biggest risk was not inherently somebody copying me, because there are multiple versions of product, and it's actually very perfect because multiple versions of product enhance competition and enhance development, innovation. But then if customers did not know we existed, then we have lost the game even before we started. Again, let's let that sink in, right? At this point now, we have established that building in public is imperative and that you need to do it, but you have to do it in a very strategic manner so that people do not copy the essence and the ethos of your product. We're going to post actually of 5 types. We're going to talk about your vision and the mission. We're going to talk about the current products and why they suck, the current solutions and why they do not work. We're going to talk about the problem you're solving. What is the problem that is out there? For myself, it is that people do not have access to banking services. My school is situated in a village now, and if you want to pay, the woman will tell you to send money to somebody else so she can receive it. Why? Because she does not have a bank account. You are in North Carolina, you are in Abuja, you want to send her money. How would you do it? You can just send money to a network of POS owners that are in our system, and then she would go get the code, authenticate the code, and get it. And then for barbershops and hairdressers, they do not have enough systems to manage appointments. Customer comes to your shop now, they want to book an appointment for 7 o'clock. This is what we're talking about now is the problem you're solving. A customer comes to the shop, they want to book an appointment for 7 o'clock, but then even if they book it, they would have to miss it because there is no proper system to remind them, right? This is what we're solving. This is the problem we're solving, right? Then the 4th one is the high-level milestones. What are the things you've achieved in this short while? What are your traction? What are your milestones? These are something you will talk about. And then the last one is then, what are some of the features you're going to talk about? So if we were Apple, we're going to talk about the dynamic island. We're going to talk about how beautiful dynamic island is, but we're going to talk about the deep tech behind dynamic island. Most of the things like the accommodation and affordance that is put in it to make it expand and retract. That's one of the things that you don't talk about. But the things that you should never, ever talk about on Instagram or the internet, the things that nobody should hear, even your investors, is to never talk about your upcoming partnership and your expansion plans. Up until they are done and they're actually live, you should never ever talk about them. You should never talk about the technology behind your products, your patents. You should never talk about them because somebody could always steal them. And as I'm saying this, it reminds me of the iPhone, how the software used for the iPhone was actually copied by a smaller company that made it mainstream, and Apple had to take all of the glory because also they have the audience base. So you should never ever talk about your technological stack and your IPs. I actually have all of this written down in a document. I decided I share it with you guys because being in public is amazing. Being in public gives you execution. Being in public gives you audience, which will in turn become your moat. And being in public, most of all, gives you credibility. Think about companies like Mint and how they were able to grow the first 1,000 users from publishing things on websites. And then this system creates a balance between what you should share and what you should not. But there's a problem. There's a very big problem, and the problem we have faced before, in which a competitor actually had to copy our product. And I think you should watch this video so that your competitor does not copy your product, even if you manage what you share. Let's make Africa great again.